Wherever Africans gather, we must understand one thing. Only united can we go far. And we must find a way to unite, one way or another. And this responsibility falls more on the youth today, but also on the elders, who must be able to explain to the youth what they experienced in the past and how we should behave today in order to unite. I am counting on each and every one of you to continue this struggle wherever you are. Because today we are being fought not only by imperialism, which is trying by every means to make us disappear, but also by our own brothers, some who are servants of imperialism and others simply out of self-interest. Personally, I would say that there are many African heads of state who do not like me. There are many people out there who do not really appreciate me. Maybe it's because they're jealous. Maybe also I'm a threat to their master. Whatever the case, I don't hold it against them. And they pretend, when people meet them, they pretend to like me. But I know that there are many who do not like me. But our prayer is that God changes them deeply in their hearts. That God fills their hearts with love, not for us, but for their people.
Africa has no shortage of Western puppets. Africa has no shortage of betrayal. What I see here, my dear lovely family, brothers and sisters, this is a betrayal of the true independence of Africa, economic freedom that has been fought for many years and taken a new shape in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Can anyone assured me that France didn't engineer the coup in Gabon? Because you see right now, the military leader of Gabon are working closely with Macron. And this brings me to know that France engineered the military coup in Gabon. What France did is to replace the shape of leaders. The previous one was too old, so France finding a new one. And the new one is President Nguema, the one that you see aside with President Macron. So this is a real betrayal for the struggle of our mother continent, Africa. So, brothers and sisters, in this video, we are going to dive deep into what happened in this trip of President Macron in Gabon. You're welcome.
Africa is at a crossroads. We wave flags, we sing anthems, we celebrate independence. But behind the parades and the ceremonies, a deeper truth lingers. Can we truly be free when we still celebrate the presence of our former colonizers? This is not just a question of politics. It's a question of consciousness. In today's video, we break down the betrayal of Africa's revolutionary path, the manipulation of coups across the Sahel, and why mental freedom is the true battlefield. Let's talk truth. Let's make Africa great, not in slogans, but in substance. We often talk about colonization as something that happened in the past, something historical, like a closed chapter. But colonization didn't just occupy our land, it colonized our minds. It taught us to see Europe as superior. It taught us to believe that without Western approval, we are nothing. So when a Western president lands in Africa, even one hated in his own country, we roll out the red carpet, we ululate, we cheer, we thank them for their presence. That is not freedom. That is mental slavery in disguise. Kwame Nkrumah once said, "The best way to enslave a people is to make them believe they are free." And today, many of us are still mentally enslaved. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. These are not just countries on a map. They are symbols of resistance. In these nations, military regimes have risen up and said, "No more. No more to foreign military bases that don't protect us. No more to exploitative trade deals that enrich Europe and leave Africa poor. No more to puppet presidents serving foreign interests." Whether you agree with military rule or not, are challenging the system. And for the first time in decades, we see leaders who talk directly to their people, who say the West is not here to help, but to control. It's not about uniforms, it's about the message. And that message is shaking the neocolonial order. We've been told the West opposes these military regimes because they care about democracy. But let's be real. Where was that concern when Chad had a military transition after the death of Idris Deby? France supported it. So did the West. Why? Because Chad remained loyal. In Guinea and Gabon, same story. Military takeovers quietly endorsed because they kept the Western agenda alive. But in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, those coups were met with outrage, sanctions, isolation, not because of the method, but because of the message. The West doesn't fear coups, it fears independent African thinking. When a government, civilian or military, says we'll do it our own way, that's when they become enemies of the system. Let's talk about the other coups, the silent, legal ones. In Côte d'Ivoire, Alassane Ouattara changed the constitution to secure a third term. In Togo, Faure Gnassingbé has ruled since 2005. Paul Biya of Cameroon has been in power since 1982. That's over 40 years. Are these not coups in slow motion? Yet the West accepts them, embraces them, celebrates them. Why? Because these leaders play along. They keep the currency tied to the French franc. They allow foreign corporations to extract resources with little benefit to locals. They offer stability, but at what cost? At the cost of African dignity, at the cost of revolution. These civilian puppets are no better than military dictators. In fact, they're more dangerous because they wear the mask of democracy. France never left Africa. Yes, they lowered their flags. Yes, they closed some offices, but they remained through currency, culture, military presence, and politics. France continues to control 14 African countries through the CFA franc, a colonial currency. It maintains military bases in Africa, allegedly to protect, but often to project power. When France lost influence in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, it quickly embraced Chad, Gabon, and Guinea to maintain its grip. It's a chess game. Lose one pawn, protect the king. The African people are not part of that strategy, only our land, our resources, our leaders. France doesn't want free African states. It wants stable client states. There is a difference, and we must learn it. We have been taught to love our oppressors. We have been trained to trust the media that lies to us. We have been programmed to fear freedom and to choose comfort over courage. This is not just about Mali, or France, or the CFA. This is about our identity as Africans. Are we still waiting for someone to save us? Are we still depending on aid that comes with chains? Are we still begging for inclusion in a world that was built to exclude us? It's time to wake up. The real revolution is mental. And if your mind is still colonized, then you're not free, no matter who is in power. To the youth of Africa, don't just fight with slogans. Fight with ideas. Read, question, resist, unlearn. To the elders, pass on the truth. Tell the stories of Sankara, Lumumba, Cabral, and Nkrumah. Don't let the future be fooled again. And to every African, we will never be free until we stop cheering our colonizers. Freedom is not given, it is claimed with courage, knowledge, and unity. It's time to rise. It's time to make Africa great by freeing our brains.
Yes, welcome and greetings all of you, my dear lovely family, brothers and sisters. That is President Macron with President Nguema of Gabon. My question to you, fellow Africans, when will Africa be free? If we continue to allow our former colonizers to come and control. And the one thing that has shocked me is to see that the people of Gabon have celebrated Macron, while we know that people in Sahel, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso are not happy with Macron. I think for me this is a sabotage for the continent of Africa, for the people of Africa, to see that some of our leaders are still having ties with our former colonizers, not just the former colonizers, people who are still destabilizing our mother continent, Africa. We know all of us that
a leader such as Traore has survived more than 50 coup attempt. But the reason behind, or someone who is behind that coup, is President Macron and France. So, and yet another African leader is inviting Macron to our country, our continent. So for me, this is not right. This is not okay. This is like sabotage and betrayal of our struggle. Yes, we need to have bilateral meetings or sometimes bilateral discussion, but not the way President Nguema has done to President Macron. You know, we Africans, I think we don't know what we want, because if you look in other parts of the continent, you see people are fighting for free and true independence, while other parts of the continent, leaders are still trying to attract those who have been sometimes being expelled from other parts of the continent. This is the kind of betrayal that we don't want to see in the continent of Africa. You know, I've been saying this many times, we Africans, we don't have a common understanding. And that's why right now I understand why Traore has said there's a need for African leaders to come together and to form one thing that is called Afro Union that will replace the African Union. I know you may ask why we need to replace the African Union, because people like Macron and Trump are the ones who are always trying to control this organization. So I think for Traore to form one of Afro Union that will replace African Union, it is better, because with this African Union that we have, you see puppets, you see betrayers and perpetrators are enjoying with these our former colonizers and those who are destabilizing our mother continent, Africa. So, family, have heard a lot from President Nguema and President Macron. So let me take you to the full speech made by those two leaders. Maybe you can understand the reason. But for me, those reasons is nothing, as long as I see that the leader who have been chased out are being invited by others. So we don't want, of course, we are not trying maybe to dictate President Nguema. No, we are talking about the independence of this continent. So if we want independence, why we invite those who are destabilizing our mother continent, Africa? So I think that's something we need to understand as the people of Africa. So of that, let me take you direct to the full speech made by those two leaders when they meet in Gabon. Here is the full speech.
Mr. President of the French Republic, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with one deep honor and one great joy that the Gabonese people and government welcomes you today on the occasion of this official visit, which illustrates the solidity, bonds of friendship, and mutual respect between the two nations. Your presence testifies to our common will to make a fresh start, to build cooperation based on trust, the dialogue, and equality in a negotiated perspective. Mr. President of the Republic, dear brother, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for multiform support that you have brought to our country during our political transition. This support contributed to the holding of the elections, free and transparent, welcomed by the international community, and a gradual implementation of our institutions. Pledges a new return to constitutional order. We have already installed the National Assembly, and in a few days, we set up the college, town halls, departmental assemblies and the Economic Council, following social and environmental. Beyond this political transition, Gabon is committed to one transformation: ambitious economic focus on valuation of its resources and improvement des conditions de vie de sa population. We don't want to do as in the past. Industrialization is one of the main pillars, including by the local processing of our raw materials. As such, we invite French companies to sit, to follow our dynamics, in one case of transparency and good governance, in accordance with the recommendations of the Monetary Front International, in matters of contract publication, tax return, agreement and partnership agreement. This is the opportunity for me to remind you, dear Emmanuel, that the 2 Août 2028 in Dakar, at your address to the French community of Senegal, you said this: French companies must be exemplary in Africa. It is this shyness we are looking for our country. Our links are quite strong today. France and Gabon need each other. Our common future necessarily goes through the deletion of the pension economy. Concerning the processing of, we count on your collaboration so that the Eremite Group respects its commitments. Au regard of our recent discussions, I can count on you to select the parameter group to be more responsive and above all aligned with our vision. The financial agreements we have just signed testify to this, of our links and your support to accompany us economically. We have initiated reforms to clean up our public finances, return our domestic debt, and restore economic confidence. These efforts must now extend to our foreign debt. In partnership with multilateral institutions, especially the FM, to whom we asked one assistance technique and the restitution of our debt, which could lead to the signing of a program. Dear Emmanuel, my government has inherited an abyssal debt, fruit of irresponsible management, and opaque. All this orchestrated by Olubondo Ondimba, his wife Sylvia, and his son Noureddin, now on the run in London and refusing to appear in court of our country. We count on judicial cooperation between our two states so that court decisions be executed and that the assets diverted be a return to the Gabonese people. Mr. President, I renew my welcome wishes and would like your stay in Gabon is both pleasant and bearer of fruitful exchange. That this visit mark one new step in strengthening our cooperation at the service of development and the well-being of our populations. Our relationship is at the beautiful fixed. There is no cloud between Gabon and France. I love my country as you love France. I thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, thank you. First, let me tell you that I am happy to return. Au Gabon, j'ai one souvenir, still very present of my visit of 2023, and particularly happy to be here at your side today, in this moment. On 30/08/2023 was one in history. Gabon policy. And you have opened a new era based on inclusiveness, the plurality of opinions that our two countries share deeply. And it is for this reason that France from the very first moment supported the transition. You wanted one transition, open to all political forces, to all sensibilities. You have given yourself deadlines, and you respected them. And I want to say it here with great force. What do I say? Wherever there are destabilized situations, I give Gabon as an example. Did you know how to do? And this is the chapter you are closing at the end of this year of political transition. But every time you make commitments towards Gabonese women or Gabonese to the international community, you have respected them. You have also hoped that this transition would be rapid indeed. And it is the Gabonese people who on 12 has brought you largely to the head of the state, making of you the first president of this new republic. After having changed constitutions and terms, and you called it back, the remaining national and local deadlines will allow to complete in the coming weeks the whole process. That's also why I wanted to be by your side today. I want to congratulate all Gabonese women and Gabonese for having written the first pages of this new story, and tell you our gratitude for this. This new Gabon, it is visible. Libreville becomes an advance. Tomorrow, we will have the opportunity to see of this transformation, and France is fully available to accompany this ambition. And I tell you here too, in philosophy, that we have worn in recent years. You had the friendship to quote the words I had in Dakar, but deep down since what I said to Ouagadougou from the end of the year 2010-7, I believe in one partnership, and indeed in one respectful relationship, where we must be each other's copies, and where situations must lead to partnerships. Asian users. I support totally what the President of the Republic just said. That is, Africa can no longer be a single continent. Resource extraction. We must succeed in building new models. But this implies energy investments, transformations of practice, but where these resources are increasingly transformed. And therefore we accompany this partnership, sometimes respectful of everyone's interests. We do on one critical path that must be also consistent and competitive. It set exactly the discussions we had with moreover our companies, funding, and we made a lot of progress together. That's why forgive us that we made you wait. But we wish to accompany you indeed the ambition you have in water. And so we will move forward to go faster. We wish to accompany your ambition in terms of waste management. Here too we will move faster. In terms of the infrastructure, here too we will move faster. And we found the frame. In the matter to train. It is the contract to the agreement that was signed between the Minister and the French Development Agency, which will allow to have, thanks to the European Union and France, one financial unit, which allows to develop this project, which is extremely. And then with the commitments we have found, and this path that we will follow together, every 2 months, to succeed in transforming more, and create more wealth, in your country. You know it, there are 85 French subsidiaries that are present here. Dozens of companies, created by often French binational, which represent more than 12,000 predominantly Gabonese. All in this new framework, and this new want to invest even more and adhere to, in this spirit of mutual respect, to this partnership. Here is the economic ambition we have, is to be part of the project that is yours, and do it with spirit of responsibility, honesty and respect. Security is also one historical pillar of our cooperation. The recent stopover of the helicopter carrier in Phobia in your waters testifies to this. as well as the redesign of our defense partnership. You know it. I announced this a few years ago. We have mostly talked about it, and in the last 2 years, we have totally transformed our defense partnership. We did like everywhere on the continent. It is now based on one reciprocal cooperation, on one support work, the expression of needs by the Gabonese armies. France responds with more training, with common programs, exercises in common with equipment programs, and so we have succeeded in completely changing the philosophy. We have training programs in a Franco-Gabonese base. We want to make Gabon one regional reference, especially thanks to our national regional schools and creation that we are pleased to confirm of the Academy of Environmental Protection and Natural Resources, dedicated to the fight against poaching and their illegal mulch, and this foundation that we decided to build together. The last point, the penultimate point I would like to do, is about the protection of the environment. This is a strong axis that we have had in recent years, and it is also all the ambition that France carries in the region, but also in the Amazon or in the Indo-Pacific, of primary forest protection. We have indeed this partnership for the forests of the Basin of Congo, which is important, and we ensure the co-facilitation together. France effects includes income from the debt 60 million euros, sustainable management of forest ecosystems, and the development of the wood forest sector. And it is thanks to what we have built, together with this facilitation, that we could launch during the COP30 of Belém this call from Belém for the forests of Central Africa, which has been truly consolidated by our joint work, and that we could complete with other memberships. And indeed Gabon remains very rich in nature, and we really want to accompany you in the exemplary work you have always been able to carry out. And I want to finish with one last point. Gabon's real wealth is its youth, are his women and men, the creativity of its artists, the energy of his youth. The inauguration today of the new French Institute in Gabon, after 1 year of work, illustrates our desire to continue to make people shine your culture and support cultural entrepreneurship. Obviously, education is also extremely important to us. With Campus France, we accompany hundreds of young Gabonese who are continuing their studies in France. 5000 cents to follow as I speak one university course. But our cooperation is also here, with school building, training and investment in youth. Here is, Mr. President, what I meant. The philosophy you have just expressed, we share it. And we wish to register us in this spirit of respect. And I was able to work with you earlier. Feel the warmth of the welcome of Gabonese. That has touched me deeply. And after these 2 years of transition, a democratic, you will open at the bottom completely this page of the new Gabon with, I know it, a reason, vision and responsibility. Know one thing, France will be there, in its right place. I the one, from a friend who wants to help you succeed, with a spirit of respect, consideration and sharing your ambition. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.